Aaron Rodgers has a very high opinion of himself because he had success on the football field. He believes himself to be an extraordinary being. He genuinely thinks that because God gave him the ability to throw a ball, he's smarter than everyone else. The idea that his brain is just average is unfathomable to him.
My body is my temple. That's why I start every morning with a brisk aerobic workout.
We learned during COVID, somehow he knows more about science than scientists. A guy who went to community college, then got into Cal on a football scholarship, and didn't graduate. Someone who never spent a minute studying the human body is an expert in the field of immunology. He just put on a magic helmet, and that G made him a genius. Aaron got 2 A's on his report card. They were both in the word Aaron, okay?
Jimmy Kimmel obviously had a 7-minute and 32-second diatribe last evening to start the show, kind of explaining his side of the entire thing. A lot of people said they expect more jokes in there.
Yeah.
A little bit more jokes.
Sure.
Seemed like it was a little bit more of like he was super bummed out. Just kind of wanted to get it out there. Aaron, I think this is the perfect time for you to kind of address your side of this. You've been threatened to be sued. You've obviously been talked about by a lot of people yet again, and I'm sure you have thoughts on it. The mustache looks great. Go ahead and take it away, pal. And I want to let you know, I will check you, okay?
Damn right.
I will check you, okay, on anything you say that I know isn't true. Just let me know if I should check you, please, with what you're talking. You have more research than me. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the research, that's a whole nother story. I mean, why would you do any research on anything ever? Listen, I think we should just get into it, though, just so we can have the woke establishment who's just tuned in for, this part. Let's just get this out of the way first, then they can move on with the rest of the day, and we can all move past this. It's been an interesting week for sure. Very interesting week. A lot of things have been said. A lot of people have been taking shots at me without mentioning their vax status first, which I thought we established with Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was how we're going to do things moving forward. We haven't done that, obviously. So, listen, jokes aside, I'd really like to get into this and then let's just move on. So, the history of this, before I get into what I said, what I actually said, and how I feel about all that, the history of this, whatever this is between Jimmy and I, this goes back to COVID times, right? And in COVID times, he mentioned on his show jokes about my immunization.
You know, we should have known, because nothing says I heal myself with crystals like this haircut. I mean, that little knot on top. Aaron is a Karen. That's the fact of the matter.
Which I know you also made a little joke about it. And the fact that, my own research, he didn't just stop there, though. He made a lot of other comments about unvaccinated people, mentioning that they don't deserve treatment. If they're at a hospital, they shouldn't be given a hospital bed.
Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
He made comments about repurposed drugs that were being used all over the world that have incredible safety profiles that were derogatory. He, mentioned ivermectin being horse-based and pushed that whole narrative for a long time. He gave a platform to one of the biggest spreaders of misinformation during the COVID times, Dr. Fauci. So in my opinion, he ripped me about the vax.
Right. And if parachutes are so great, how come 11 people died skydiving last year? It's the fact of the matter is the risk of dying from COVID is 11 times higher if you aren't vaccinated. This was a dumb conversation, but you'll never guess who this whack packer has been getting his medical advice from. And by the way, if you're looking for advice from a former host of The Man Show, call me next time, okay? Because I have
My body is my temple.
I don't know, how does someone who almost hosted Jeopardy come up with 40 incorrect responses in a row? Aaron Rodgers let everyone around him think he was vaccinated when he was. He's not Kyrie Irving. He's Bernie Madoff, okay?
And that turns out to be an L on many occasions because the vax was not safe and effective like we were told that it was in the beginning. There are a lot of injuries now that we've seen related to the vaccine. So in my opinion, you went after me. That's fine. You're a comedian. Go for it. Not offended, but that was an L. Fast forward to, again, unprompted. We're talking on our show, as we do, about a lot of different topics. Somehow the Epstein client list comes up. And I said, it's interesting, and there were for a long time. Even still, there hasn't been a list that's been released. There's been one person's deposition from a 2015 case, right? But we said there's an excitement to expose corruption. There's excitement about when the corruption anywhere gets exposed and people who are accused of these heinous crimes get exposed. That will be nice, that we can get this all out in the open. So I made this comment on the show whenever that was last year. And then unprompted, he comes out and says that I'm an overly concussed wacko. In my opinion, it seemed like because I believe that there was a list and that there were names on that, right? So then we fast forward to this last week, right? And I said that a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't come out. End quote. That's what I said. That's the entire quote. I was referring to the fact that if there is a list, which again, this hasn't come out yet, this was just a deposition, and there are names on it, then that would be the second time that a soft brain, junior college student, wacko, anti-vax, anti-Semite, spreader of misinformation, conspiracy theorist, MAGA, whatever other things have been said by him and other people in the media.
Needless to say, all this UFO talk has the tinfoil hatters going wild, including Green Bay whackpacker Aaron Rodgers, who offered this hot take on the Pat McAfee show.
I believe that this has been going on for a long time.
Oh. Might be time to revisit that concussion protocol, Aaron.
Would be right twice. Now, let me just say that that is the truth, number one. Number two, I totally understand how serious an allegation of pedophilia would be. So for him to be upset about that, I get it. Did you watch the quote? Because that's exactly what I said. Verbatim what I said on the show. Okay? I'm not stupid enough, even though you think I'm an idiot, and you made a lot of comments about my intelligence. I'm not stupid enough to accuse you of that with absolutely zero evidence, concrete evidence. That's ridiculous. So I'm glad, and I think we can agree on something, is that one, those crimes are heinous, and two, I'm glad you're on the list because those who are on the list, and this is what I think we can agree on, that at minimum there should be an inquiry into their involvement, especially if they went to the island, and at maximum there should be an investigation into it. So I hope that you'll give the same type of energy to these heinous crimes when they do come out, and the names do come out, and there is an inquiry into it, that you gave to other subjects that I actually mentioned that you spent a lot of time working on. So I'd like to put this to bed to move forward. I don't understand a Mike Voss comment because he didn't help out either. And I'm going to quote Mike Voss. He said, Aaron made a dumb and factually incorrect joke about Jimmy Kimmel. It should never have happened. We all realized that in the moment. Mike, you're not helping. This is the game plan of the media, and this is what they do. They try and cancel, and it's not just me. It's nowhere near just me. I mean, if you look at all the different people who've been censored from the internet especially during COVID, the canceling that went on, the censorship, using the government to try and censor people. And if that doesn't work, then they go to name calling. I mentioned a lot of the names that I've been called, and they don't stick.